Hello, this is Dr. Castleberry, Program Director, Media Production Communication, and Course Instructor for this class, COMM4123 Media Production Techniques. I'm here with another video syllabus entry. And in this video, I'm going to talk about readings for the course. Every course has readings, especially if it's an online class. We need materials to engage with us, to sustain us, to continue to feed us as we build momentum in that course, to meet its educational objectives and satisfy those learning outcomes. And so I'm here to talk about the key reads for media production techniques and hopefully get you encouraged and enthused about why they're important and why you don't want to miss out on these opportunities, whether you like to read a little or a lot. All right, so the first is going to be a real go-to for you, and especially those that may have limited or novice experience making videos, right? And when I say making, I mean not just capturing moving images, digital imagery and sound with your camera or smartphone or what have you, but editing with other clips into some type of narrative form. And so this is our go-to book for this course. Look how tiny it is. It's a small grab, and hopefully that's also symbolic of a lower cost, all right? I don't want to offend anyone that had a hard time obtaining this particular book, but I located a used copy for a little over $5, and so that seems really hard in this day and age to find books that cheap. But my encouragement to you is you can find a great used copy. This is the ultimate guide to digital filmmaking. Well, it sounds perfect for what we're going to be doing, and so it is the Guerrilla Filmmaker's Pocketbook. All right, this is by Chris Jones, Andrew Ziens, and Guinevere Joliffe. All right, this is from Bloomsbury Press, and it is sort of small but thick. It serves its purpose. These pages are designed with some creative layouts. I think it makes it easier to read. So it's not like you're just walking around with a manual here. Sometimes they're listing things. Sometimes there's like meta commentary where they do little Q&As. There are little sidebars where they have information. And so I think that's very reader friendly from a new user standpoint. And it's also co-written by folks that know what they're talking about. Well, we're going to be doing some guerrilla filmmaking, if we want to call it that. That simply means it's kind of low budget, on the hunt, kind of grab and use the materials at your disposal to do the best that you can. That's guerrilla filmmaking. And so this is a perfect companion to the ways in which we're going to be creating media in this course. And this is an active applied learning class where you're building things that you capture and edit together, okay? So this, we can think of it as the primary read because honestly, we have these chapters are pretty long, but again, these pages are small and the layout's different. It's not an overwhelming amount of reading, but it's going to tackle topics that we can speak into each week with our weekly themes. And so it's laid out and such. Now we have another more formal textbook style book, and can't make promises on this, but it's been around a lot. Heavy usage in high-end and regular media programs. So you could go to media studies program, encounter this textbook. You can go to media production situation and probably encounter this text. But this is the Media Students book. Oh, that's just okay. I was about to say, I thought that had a long subtitle, but that was one of several about the book reviews. The Media Students book, 5th edition, from Gil Branston and Roy Stafford. So here's what the cover looks like, the 5th edition, that is to say. Folks, let's be transparent for a moment. If you are on some kind of incredible crunch with that readings budget, then would an older edition be suffice for the course. If you could find it at some kind of bargain rate, reach out to your instructor for more information on that. Or not that they're giving out information, probably not, but whether or not that would work in terms of usually what you find when something moves from a fourth to a fifth edition, you're seeing nominal change. All right, a lot of the best chapters of most textbooks remain constant over time. If nothing, if they are adjusted, maybe additional updated citations, newer citations, or a final section at the very end that does that for us. But this is a tried and true one. This is ripe in language and terminology and case studies and examples that would perfectly complement the way that this course is written and laid out. And also, let me clarify, we're not having you read this entire textbook in 5 weeks. We're being very strategic with the choice of chapters and the weeks in which they're selected for you to peruse. We don't cover every section. I'm sure, like any textbook in any social sciences area or human behavioral sciences area or the humanities at writ large, you're going to find chapters and terms or maybe conversations here and there in academic communities and circles that are not up everyone's lane of familiarity or expertise. And we do our best to assign chapters that make the most sense for our students. And so you can absolutely stay on course with the chapters we've located for students to read from this book. And then if you want the deeper dive, if you want the supplementals, then by all means, read extra. And we hope if you're serious about growing in your media production skill set, hold on to these books. Use them as future references. Reading while folks are reading. Okay, so there are these studies about reading on experiencing massive decline. And maybe lots of long form book reading is declining and has been for decades. But I continue to find studies and data that reports reading as a practice is steady, and we're just typically reading in shorter chunks. Well, fortunately, we've selected at least one book that's written in shorter chunks. So I do think you'll be able to latch onto that. I hope you'll push yourself in the other. But remember, these readings are to help reinforce the direction we're headed in, the areas you're looking to gain knowledge and experience. And so I think the selection of these books complements our desire that students will gain more of a vocabulary for media production as a field, right? And not just an academic field. In fact, that is a secondary interest. The primary interest is knowing many of our students seek, or perhaps have a desire, or maybe have yet to unlock a desire to go work in the professional sector with regards to media production. And it's good to know a lot of the everyday jargon used in those professional workspaces. These texts, these sources help move us closer to that. We're looking to close the gap. We want to help call up students, empower them to be strong, creative young professionals, capable storytellers, and we're looking forward to doing that together here in COMM4123 Media Production Techniques.